Hello, everybody. James Nutter here for yet another episode of the A Life Well Lived, a physician's guide to wealth podcast, where we help you take control of your money so you can live your most meaningful life. And today, it is a great day for a great day. We are 1 week away from America's birthday. June 27th, 2024 is when I am recording this. I apologize if you're getting some background noise. In Traverse City, the Blue Angels are here, the Navy Blue Angels fighter jets, and they're doing some practice laps above my head as we speak. So hopefully, Nathan, you can edit some of that out. I'm sure you'll be able to. But it's a good day for a good day. There's a lot of good energy in the air. And, just hearing those jets, not that we're going to go down to the path of talking war or anything, but, always puts things into perspective of how good a lot of us, have it in life and how grateful we are for those who serve our country. So thank you to all of you out there who do serve our country, including a lot of our clients that we have Air Force, Navy, etc. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to continue the Financial Wellness 101 series, helping you get it together forever. So by now, you should be near the end of your financial vital signs process. You're kind of gone through that get it together forever, right? You started with the impact primer, the impact that you want to make, kind of declaring that motivation and uncovering that deeper under why of why you're doing what you're doing with your money. So when that motivation fails, you have a reason to continue pushing forward, right? Because if it's at the surface, you're not gonna wake up, you're not gonna put in the work. Just like at the gym. Like if you just want to lose weight for a wedding in a month, you're gonna go to the wedding and then you're probably never gonna work out again. But if it's I want to lose weight so I can be healthy and live to meet my grandkids, that's a different motivation, right? So you did the impact primer, and then you walked through all the vital signs, right? And rated yourself on a category scoring of 0 to Eagle Strong. And then also you went through the Get It Together Forever process. So if you haven't done all this, go back through my previous episodes and make sure you're doing all this. I've begun releasing the last week of June and into July. I think the first one's actually going to release tomorrow, June 28th. I'm currently time traveling. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to do a super brief episode of now that you're on the other side. Hopefully you've done the work too, and you're going to get way more out of this if you actually go in those show notes and of the last episodes, download it and fill everything out with me as we're going and take time to get organized. And also don't forget to enroll your spouse and your partner. So what we're going to do is now that you're on the other side of the vital signs and cash flows, we're going to go back and you're going to rate yourself on category scoring, once again, of your vital signs, because I don't just want to move to the next step without assessing, okay, but where were you before we started the series, when you first listened to that first episode, and where are we now that you've gone through it and actually put pen to paper, figured out everything that you need. And I'll just talk briefly on some things that you can do to improve your scores. Once again, none of this is a formal recommendation. Everybody's a unique being. You all have unique financial vital signs. There's no cookie cutter solution. There's no one size fits all. There's no everybody thou shalt live like a resident, right? There's so many unique things about you as a human and your priorities in life. So cookie cutter, one size fits all rule of thumbs are not going to work, and they're going to put you on a path to burnout. So keep that in mind. I'll just give you general overviews today, and we're going to keep it brief. So go back to all of the financial vital signs, all the work that you did, and then we're going to go through, and you're going to rate yourself category scoring on hazardous being a 1, and Eagle Strong being a 4. I think I said 0 earlier. There is no 0. Like hazardous will be 1, vulnerable will be 2, secure will be 3, Eagle Strong will be 4. And if you're with your spouse or partner, I would each of you do this individually and then see how you match up and then meet in the middle, because you guys might have different feelings and opinions about where you currently stand financially. So cash reserves. Do we have 6 to 12 months of living expenses in an FDIC insured liquid savings account or under your mattress if that's your thing? This is not a CD. This is not an I-bond. This is not something where money is tied up. Do we have 6 to 12 months? I would say 12 months would be Eagle Strong. 6 months would be secure, right? If you don't like having more than 6 months and you want to give yourself Eagle Strong, that's totally cool. Completely up to you as a human being. So where are you and your family right now with your cash reserves position currently? Okay, cool. So now we're going to move down to free cash flows. So hopefully you went through the free cash flows workshop last time. And do you know how much all of your goals are going to cost you on a monthly basis, right? And if you haven't already declared your goals, we are going to do that in the future. So you might need to come back to this portion, the free cash flows. But if you know that you have enough free cash flows, let's call it in this example, 10,000 a month. Let's say 10,000 a month will send your kids to college. It'll get you to retire at 55 with slowing down at 50. It'll get you to build your dream house in 8 years and pay off your student loans in 15 years, if that's your thing. Then you are eagle strong with your free cash flows. If you have enough free cash flows to meet your goals in the time that you want to meet your goals, you're eagle strong. If you don't know how to meet your goals, or if you don't know what your goals are, if you don't know your free cash flows, you're probably in a hazardous or vulnerable position. If you know what your free cash flows are, but they're not enough to hit your goals, then you either need to pick up more shifts, but then you have to assess, am I going to burn out if I do that and make more money as a family? Or you need to readjust your goals. You need to delay them. Maybe instead of a $1.5 million house, it's a $1 million house. Maybe instead of paying off your loans in 3 years, it's 5 years. Like, you have to have those tough conversations with your spouse and partner. So once again, if you have enough free cash flows to hit your goals, your unique goals, you are eagle strong. If you're, close, I'd say you're secure. If you're like, oh crap, we're gonna have to readjust, I'd say you're vulnerable. And if you have no idea, or let's say you need 10,000 a month and you only have 1,000 a month, then you're absolutely in a hazardous space. And what are you going to do to get to eagle strong as it relates to this? Moving on to life insurance. So this is just, dependent on a needs analysis. So you can Google life insurance needs analysis. Once again, I don't like rules of thumb. I don't like, oh, you make 300,000, multiply it by 10 times your income, 3 million, good to go. You have to go through a needs analysis process to essentially figure out what are the cash needs that you would need right away, and that your family would need right away. God forbid something happened to you, and then also your spouse. So paying for a funeral, paying off debts, paying off the mortgage, setting aside money for a kick-ass party instead of a funeral, leaving money behind for charity, whatever it might be. And then the other side of the equation, that's the immediate cash needs, is just capital replacement, which is basically just income replacement. So if you want to replace all of your income and you're making, let's say, 300,000 a year, if you divide 300,000 by 0.05, so 5%, that is $6 million that you would need in a bucket of money, earning a conservative 5% interest, to spit off 300,000 a year for your surviving spouse or partner. If you want to be even more conservative, you can divide it by 0.04, and that would make the number even higher. So once again, this is kind of like, it's similar to like retirement planning. Like, if you had to fill a bucket of money with $6 million and earn 5% interest in retirement, you would have about 300,000 a year in interest. That's how that works. I don't know if you need full income replacement. I definitely go after tax and then go through that cash flow analysis of what your spouse might need, and that can help you understand. So if you have enough to pay down all of your immediate cash needs and replace lost income for your spouse and kids, you are in an eagle strong position. We see most physicians probably fall in the $2 to $5 million range for their life insurance. Just depends on how much you make and what you want it to do for you. So don't follow cookie cutter rule of thumb. Customize this for yourself and talk with your spouse, partner, and kids about what they want and what you want it to do. So do this for each of you in your family. If you only have your group insurance through work, I can guarantee you're hazardous right now, unless somehow your group insurance is going to pay you 200,000, 300,000. But keep in mind, if you leave your employer, all of your group insurance does not go with you typically. And another thing to keep in mind with your group insurance is, at any point in time, your company or healthcare system could cancel that benefit, right? You don't own it, they own it. It's completely up to them. So just keep that in mind. I typically encourage most clients to carry their own individual policy outside of that. I'm not going to get into the weeds of different types of life insurance for the sake of this conversation. Long-term disability planning. If you have nothing right now, I'd say you're hazardous. I'm sure most of you might have something through work that maybe covers 60%. And what we typically like to see to be eagle strong is that you maybe have, the maximum you can qualify through work, and then you have your own separate policy that you get from the open marketplace, from a private insurance company, and you get up to 80 to 90% income replacement. It's not going to be perfect, but just getting as much as you absolutely qualify for within your group insurance and outside of your group insurance will get you in an eagle strong position. and just, make sure you have a physician specific own occupation, specialty specific policy, just things to keep in mind. I'm sure you know what it is. Once again, I can't make a formal recommendation, so I'm not going to get into the weeds with that. And then as it relates to long-term care planning, just definitely some things to think about in your like mid to late 40s. Like, do you have a plan of execution? Do you have a bucket of money set aside to pay for future expenses? And like I said, typically it's something we visit in like mid to late 40s. This one's kind of hard to put a specific dollar amount on. It kind of depends on your wishes and what you want to do. There are long-term care insurance policies, though I don't even know there's too many of them anymore, but we typically like to see our clients pursue like an asset-based long-term care strategy where you save enough and you're going to have enough in the future. If there is a long-term care type situation, that would put you in an Eagle Strong category. If you've never had the conversation with your spouse or partner, aging parents, I'd say you're in a hazardous position. If you have a plan and knowing that, hey, we might need $100,000 a year for 5 years when I'm 85 years old, and how much money you need in a bucket to do that, then you would be in an Eagle Strong position. And then lastly, moving into estate and legacy planning. Once again, this is all dependent on family needs and your legacy objectives. But I would just say if you don't have a last will and testament, you don't have a revocable living trust, you don't have a living will and a healthcare directive, and you don't have a power of attorney, you would be in a hazardous position. However, if you're single, you don't have kids, all those different things, I would say you're okay. Not the end of the world there. But as you get married and as you have kids, the time sensitivity of doing something like this really, really becomes important. And once again, it's up to you. Like, this is all fully customizable. These aren't formal recommendations, just things that we like to recommend and see to clients. Wow, the Blue Angels are looking nice out my back window. Anyways, okay, back to more fun things like estate and legacy planning. So this is kind of up to you. You have to decide what your wishes are. There's no one size fits all. But I would say at the very least, make sure you have an understanding of those last will, testament, revocable living trust, living will, healthcare directive, and power of attorney, and make sure you and all of your team members, meaning your family, are on the same page with it. That would put you in an Eagle Strong position if that's something that you would like to do. So anyways, for each of those categories I just talked about, give yourself a category scoring on 1 to 4, 1 being hazardous, 2 being vulnerable, 3 being secure, 4 being Eagle Strong. And then if you are in hazardous, vulnerable, or secure, what steps can you take today to transition in the direction of Eagle Strong? And thank you. You have completed Financial Vitals in the Get It Together Forever portion of the series. Next, we're going to move into some more bigger picture type of value-based decisions, and then we'll transition into goals, and we'll probably sprinkle some other things along the way. So thank you for being here. Cheers, and I'll see you very soon.